You're listening to the Everything Jewish 10 Minutes at a Time podcast, where you'll learn about every Jewish topic imaginable in about 10 minutes. Now, before we dive in, let me just say, my Hebrew pronunciation might sound like a GPS trying to read street names in Tel Aviv. Blame the AI voice. It's smart, but not seminary trained. Today's topic is the Sefer Yetzirah, literally the Book of Formation. No, it's not a DIY IKEA manual for building a universe, but you're not that far off. This mysterious, cryptic little book is one of the earliest works of Jewish mysticism, and it's packed with enough cosmic alphabet soup to make even the most hardcore sci-fi fan nod in approval. If you've ever wondered what Jewish thought says about how the world was created, not just that it was created, but how Sefer Yetzirah brings some of the wildest, most fascinating ideas you'll find. Buckle up. This one's a mind-bender. So what is the Sefer Yetzirah anyway? Picture this. It's like an ancient Jewish version of a programming manual, written somewhere between the 2nd and 6th centuries CE. Nobody's quite sure who wrote it. Some say it was Abraham, others say it's anonymous, and honestly, maybe it's better that way. It adds to the mystery. The book itself is short, like only 1% of War and Peace short, but what it lacks in length, it makes up for in brain-melting concepts. It lays out a theory that God created the universe through a combo of Hebrew letters and numbers. Not metaphorically, literally. The letters weren't just used to describe the world. They made it. Kind of like how source code doesn't just explain your favorite app, it's the app. Sefer Yetzirah gives us 22 Hebrew letters and 10 sefirot. Think divine dimensions or forces. And together, they form the cosmic building blocks. Hebrew becomes the coding language of creation. Let's break that down, because letters made the world sounds poetic, but also totally bonkers. Imagine you're coding a video game. Every tree, sky, and NPC, non-player character, exists because of strings of code. According to Sefer Yetzirah, the Hebrew letters are God's divine code. The letter Aleph isn't just the first letter, it represents air. Mem, that's water. Shin, fire. So you get this sort of spiritual periodic table where each letter unlocks an elemental property. The idea is that by combining these letters of fire, God didn't just speak the universe into being, he basically typed it into existence. It's mystical, yes, but there's something oddly logical about it. Hebrew here becomes sacred not just because it's ancient, but because it's fundamental. Language isn't just how we describe creation. It is creation. Mind blown. Now let's talk about those 10 sefirot, which sound like a Star Wars villain crew, but are actually cosmic principles. These aren't physical objects. They're more like spiritual forces or channels. The Sefer Yetzirah doesn't fully explain them. Mystical texts love being vague, but later Kabbalistic works expand on them big time. You've got sefirot like chokhmah, wisdom, bina, understanding, and keter, crown, each representing a stage in the unfolding of divine will into physical reality. Imagine a flowchart where divine light slowly becomes your morning bagel. The 10 sefirot are the spiritual pipeline from God's infinite light down to the real world. Sefer Yetzirah sets the stage, even if it doesn't give you the whole blueprint. It's like the teaser trailer for what would later become the full cinematic universe of Kabbalah. But wait, it gets weirder. The Sefer Yetzirah also talks about the human body and the soul, mapping Hebrew letters onto everything from your fingertips to your earlobes. Think of it like Jewish spiritual acupuncture. Your body isn't just physical, it's made of divine symbols. This isn't the kind of stuff you'll find in a biology textbook, but it's definitely the kind you'd hear in a cosmic yoga class led by a rabbi who also teaches Tai Chi. The idea is that by meditating on these letters or understanding their placement, you can realign yourself spiritually. It's a mix of anatomy and astrology and theology, all stirred together in a very ancient blender. And it's not just symbolic, it's mystical engineering. Each part of you becomes a reflection of the universe, built from the same alphabet that formed the stars. And yes, there's even some astrology thrown in. Sefer Yetzirah links Hebrew letters to the planets, the zodiac signs, and even the seasons, like Bet is connected to Saturn, Gimel to Jupiter, and so on. Now, whether you think horoscopes are cosmic insight or cosmic nonsense, back then, this stuff was serious spiritual science. The idea was that everything in the cosmos, stars, seasons, days of the week, was intricately tied to divine structure. If today's astrology apps feel a little too fluffy for you, this is like the back-end code version. People weren't reading the Sefer Yetzirah to decide if it was a good day to ask out their crush. They were trying to understand the sacred architecture of existence. Each celestial body wasn't just a rock floating in space. It was part of the spiritual circuitry of the world.
Ever notice how ads always pop up at the worst moments? When the killer's identity is about to be revealed. During that perfect meditation flow. On Amazon Music, we believe in keeping you in the moment. That's why we've got millions of ad-free podcast episodes, so you can stay completely immersed in every story, every reveal, every breath. Download the Amazon Music app and start listening to your favorite podcasts ad-free, included with Prime.
Now, let's address the elephant in the mystical room. Is Sefer Yetzirah actually meant to be taken literally? That's up for debate. Some Jewish thinkers, especially in the medieval period, read it as literal metaphysics, actual divine mechanics. Others read it more symbolically, as poetic truth about how order emerges from chaos. Even Maimonides, the great rationalist, mentioned it, but mostly as a work of mysticism that should not be read as actual science. But Kabbalists? They were all in. They saw the Sefer Yetzirah as the Rosetta Stone of the spiritual universe. So whether you think it's cosmic code or beautiful metaphor, it's clear this little book has had big influence. It's been read by philosophers, mystics, alchemists, and probably that one guy in your synagogue who always brings up black holes during Kiddush. Oh, and about Abraham. You'll often hear people say, the Sefer Yetzirah was written by Abraham himself. That's based on traditional attributions, and the book even begins with something like, and Abraham meditated. But, let's be real, it's extremely unlikely he wrote it in the historical sense. It's kind of like saying George Washington invented the internet. The attribution is more about spiritual authority than authorship. By linking the book to Abraham, the tradition is saying this isn't just random mysticism. It's foundational, patriarch-approved material. It's like putting a celebrity endorsement on your energy drink, except the celebrity is the father of monotheism and the drink is cosmic alphabet soup. So yeah, we're not saying Abraham actually sat down and coded the universe on a scroll, but spiritually, he's the face of the franchise. If all this still feels a little fuzzy, that's okay. The Sefer Yetzirah isn't trying to be a how-to manual. It's more like a mystical mood board. It gives you just enough to get your imagination firing, but not enough to ever feel like you've got it completely. And maybe that's the point. Jewish mysticism isn't about having all the answers. It's about asking better questions. How can letters shape a world? What if language is the software of creation? How do we connect to something infinite using our finite minds? The Sefer Yetzirah doesn't hold your hand. It tosses you into the deep end and says, swim through the stars. Whether you treat it as sacred wisdom or cosmic poetry, it's an unforgettable part of Jewish thought. So next time someone tells you Judaism is just laws and bagels, hit them with this. Actually, we've got an ancient book that says the universe was built from the Hebrew alphabet, mapped onto your body, and tied to the planets. Boom. Sefer Yetzirah. It's like the original cosmic fan fiction, mixing theology, spirituality, science fiction, and math. And whether or not you believe the world was made from divine letters, the idea is still powerful. Words shape reality. Language has magic. And maybe, just maybe, there's more going on behind the curtain of creation than we can ever understand. Thanks for listening to the Everything Jewish 10 Minutes at a Time podcast. If you liked this episode, forward it to a friend who enjoys a good mystical rabbit hole. Or better yet, leave us a glowing review so more curious minds can discover this show. Shalom, and may your letters always spell something beautiful.